We've always said we need a good writing center cat, right? When, like the bookstore. Remember, everybody's got the bookstore, and they've always got the cat in the front window.
Yes.
We need one of those for the writing center, right? That'd be so cool. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure Merlin would be great.
Yeah.
Emily's cat looks a lot more chill.
Just he'll join.
Can he socially distance?
Oh yeah, he's great at it.
Yeah. Most cats are pretty good at social distancing, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, not so much.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can everybody see me okay? Is this an annoying angle or anything? Or I'm in like the shade of my yard. Everybody's happy? Okay.
Oh, you're good.
How was everybody's summer?
It was mostly work. I've been working a lot.
Yeah. What was the high point of everybody's summer? High point.
Probably getting my cat. That was my big.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got two cats that I got when I was in school. And I didn't have like a girlfriend or wasn't in a relationship or anything at the time. So it's like, I'm in the mood for a commitment. So I got two cats, right? And I've still got them like almost 20 years later. They're still hanging around, right? That's part of the family. So that's cool.
I've got two cats now too. So they're brothers. They came free with each other. So I was like, okay.
Cool. That's how I got mine too. I actually got my cats from, do y'all remember Hurricane Katrina? I was living and teaching in Louisiana at the time. And so these two baby kittens were actually probably born in the Superdome during Hurricane Katrina. And then they were evacuated along with their owner on a bus to Lafayette, where I lived in Louisiana. And so they were left on the back of a bus because you couldn't have animals in the people shelter. So these tiny, tiny little kittens were just on the back of a bus all alone. And a friend of mine was a police officer and found them. And she brought them over and said, "You said you wanted cats the other night. Surprise." And she gave me these two cats. So it's pretty cool. They're my hurricane cats. Should we all welcome Lucas? We're meeting Lucas for the first time. Lucas is new to the program. Good to meet you, Lucas.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for the welcome.
Yeah. Sort of a strange welcome, isn't it? But yeah, good to see you. Yeah. Well, maybe, we're not officially starting yet, but as long as we're a small group, that'll probably get a bit bigger. We should have a few more people coming, I'd imagine. Can we just kind of go down the row here and just everybody tell me, like, if you're going to be in town? I guess Amanda, are you going to be in town?
I have one class that's partially on campus, so like I'll be within driving distance.
Okay. But you won't be on campus every day or most days necessarily, right?
I won't be on campus every day. It's like one day.
What's your teaching? Are you teaching all online or are you teaching a little bit in person too?
I'm only teaching online.
Only online. All right, cool. This will be helpful to know. Emily, are you in Winona?
Yep, I'm in Winona, and I'll be on campus every day. So.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Caitlin, you're going to be around, right? We talked yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Igul, you're going to be in Winona, right?
Yep.
You're already here, I'm guessing, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And Lucas, are you going to be in Winona? Or are you going to be like in La Crosse, or where are you going to be? Just so I know.
Yeah, I'm here in Winona.
Are you? Okay, cool. All right. So follow-up question to that then, even though I'll run this by the bigger group later, but as long as I've got a small group of you. So it goes without saying, we're going to be all online this semester, like we were at the end of last semester. So it'll be all Zoom tutorials because we can't really socially distance. And I didn't think it would be that fun to wear masks for a 2-hour shift or a 4-hour shift. So it's all Zoom tutorials again. But my idea is this. I wouldn't mind having one person from every shift that's sort of like the host of the writing center, because our physical space is basically closed down for the semester. But I would love to have one of you in there sometimes when your shift allows, if you're in town, so that we have an actual presence in there. So when people come in expecting a face-to-face, maybe you can say, we're not doing face-to-face, but let me help you make an appointment and get a Zoom link for a tutorial. I was joking with Caitlin the other day. It's kind of like you're the Olive Garden host or hostess, right? And you're there, you're like, welcome to the Writing Center, right? Let me show you how to make an appointment, get them a table with Zoom or something. You know what I mean? Hey, Lee, how are you? This may or may not work. Who would be comfortable being in the Writing Center, just dealing with people face to face? And if you wouldn't be because of COVID, that's totally fine. There's like no pressure to do this. Everybody would be? Cool. My thought is, and tell me how you feel about this, we'd probably set up the tables so that you'd be on the other side of the tables, and then we'd have the sign-in computer on the other side so that people, you know, just can't walk in and get too close to you and stuff like that. So that sounds okay, everybody? Okay, cool. Good to know. Lee, as long as I got you, what are you teaching? Are you teaching all online, or are you teaching some face-to-face, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm just teaching all online. I'm
All
doing
online
like
too.
Zoom meetings.
Right, cool. Sounds good. All right. Sounds good. I guess we'll get started. Maybe some other people will pop in. We're missing a few people, but that's okay. All right, so welcome everyone. We're a small group. Last semester, you might remember we had a huge staff. We're a little bit smaller this year, but thank you everyone for doing it. I really, really appreciate it. Maybe I'll start by saying, if you have any personal stuff that you have to talk with me about in terms of like, if you're an undergrad filling out the internship paperwork, right? Or for grad students, if you want to know anything about your teaching and your tutoring, just stick around after the meeting and we'll kind of do that one-on-one when we're all done. The meeting should be fairly short. I was looking over the normal orientation checklist and so much of it doesn't apply because we're going to be all online, right? So I think what would be most helpful for me if all of you just kind of take good notes on the things that do matter for this semester. So make sure you got pen and paper handy to jot things down. And the other thing is, if there's anything I don't bring up that is important to bring up, just make sure we talk about it. All of you did the Zoom tutoring to end last year. And Lucas, just as a bit of catch up for you, I'm sure this was the same in your experience last semester. We had a face-to-face tutorials until it was spring break here, and then COVID happened and we went to all online tutorials. And so we're just gonna pick it up from there with the online tutorials. So we're all online. Maybe the first thing is just to have a good talk, since all of you went through the online tutorials through Zoom last semester. How did it go? Are there things we can change or improve upon in some way? Just tell me about that. We really haven't seen each other face to face since last spring, and we tried the Zoom tutorials. So if somebody wants to just take the floor and tell us about it, that would be great.
I think it went pretty okay. I only had I think I only actually got like 1 or 2 like Zoom appointments.
Right.
But I would say it was kind of awkward sometimes because people would just join with their cameras off, so you'd just be like talking to a disembodied voice. But yeah. But
okay. All right.
Otherwise, I think it pretty much almost felt the same as in person.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah, and Zoom works a lot better than the like tutoring website we used to use.
Yes, we're sticking with Zoom forever and ever, even if the pandemic ends. Yeah, yeah. Good. Anything else? Anything that you felt you needed? This could be training. This could be extra tools that I might find for you. Anyway, like I could support your tutoring online maybe a little bit more this semester than last semester. What's coming to mind?
It's not so much like training. It's just a tip that I found.
Yeah.
If people do a lot of them, I did a lot of tutorials. It's because my name was at the top, but
right.
One thing to remember that I find really helpful, if they can send you the paper before you actually meet, you don't even have to really look at the meeting, but then you have it and you can read and it's not reliant on them to like scroll while you're trying to read it because it's on their
Sure.
screen.
Okay.
And so you still make them like have the screen on there, but you have a copy, so you know what to like look
Right,
at
right.
and where to leave them.
Yeah.
So that's usually really
Okay. Did you send them a message? When you message your Zoom link to them, you also just said, please send me a copy of your paper?
yeah. I would
Yeah. Okay.
message. I would ask them that, and I'd say if you don't want to, like it's totally okay.
You're right. Right.
It's fine. I was like, I'm not gonna keep it. I just want to be able to look over it and be able
Right.
to like point you where to go before we even get in. But
Right. Okay.
I
That
did
is-
the same thing several times and it worked well. I think it's a good
Okay.
suggestion.
Okay. Good. Good. Anything else I need to know or we should share?
I'm sorry, I skipped what was the topic? Hi, everyone.
Oh, hey, hi, good to see you, Medina. So the topic is, was there anything that we would alter from the Zoom tutorials last semester? Or is there any way that I can support you better or anything like that? Because we're gonna be all online again this semester.
Mhm.
So does anything come to mind, Medina? Any like small hints or problems you had? Anything you'd suggest?
I had so many situations when you send the message and the link to the students, but they don't show up.
Sure. That's, the same problem we kind of have even when we're face to face.
So can we send them some kind of a reminder or as a warning that it's not good to do so, or they have to be on time or something like this?
I can see if we can send them a reminder like day of. Well, maybe here's a good question I have for all of you. How far ahead of time did students typically sign up? Did they typically sign up like an hour before? Remember, you could register all the way up until 15 minutes before last semester to facilitate something like walk-in status, right? Were people making an appointment 2 or 3 days ahead of time, or did you have a lot of like last minute? They signed up an hour ago.
Last minute.
Now they're there. A lot of last minute.
Hour ago.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Everybody else, was that your experience too? A lot of really quick sign-ups and then they wanted.
Yeah.
I had a
Different time.
lot of like prep ahead ones, like 2-3 days out. I
Okay.
would not send the link until right before so that it would be like a
Right.
reminder. Well, not
Okay.
before, but like the day of or the day before.
Okay.
That way they
That was the reminder. The link was the reminder, right? One thing I can do for all of you is I can check with the tech people that run the appointment system and see if they can send a day of message for those people that sign up farther ahead of time. I'm not sure that we can do that. We're kind of beholden to what all the other tutoring services want to do because we're not on our own appointment system. We share it with everybody else, right? But I'll see what I can do in that area. If I can't do anything on the tech end, then all of you are, of course, welcome to send a reminder, a couple hours ahead of time. You don't have to necessarily. I know you're all busy with your own lives and your own schoolwork, right? But if you wanted to do that, that might help. This is maybe a good moment to talk about one other thing that's worth jotting down in your notes. Remember last semester, students could sign up for the tutorial 15 minutes before the tutorial began. This semester right now, it's 6 hours before. And that's because we're the only branch of tutoring services where all of you are live, have predictable shifts that are the same every week. All the other areas of tutoring services, you kind of register for an appointment, and then later you would have a tutor actually arrive and be, in the center, the math center or whatever it is. So for that reason right now, students have to sign up pretty far ahead of time. I don't know if that'll change your
I have a
day-to-day
question.
business, but yeah. Maybe.
So there was, so I feel like awkward sometimes. I had so many situations when you ask for the star ID and all this information from the
Right,
students.
right.
So is it possible to avoid this? Because one of them are willing to give this information.
Right. So I'll just say this. Maybe we just need to phrase it, and I'll kind of work on the phrasing, but it'd be something like this. In order to log you into our records, it's easiest if we have your star ID. Are you comfortable giving me your star ID with your name? If they say no, just say that's fine, because I can go into the system and put in their name and look them up, but it's more time consuming And if you've got a really common name, I don't know which one it is. There's probably 5 people named June Johnson or something like that, right? And I don't know which one it is. And so there are some problems when you don't have the star ID. So ask, and if they say no, no big deal. All right. Does that work for now, everybody? So certainly don't want to pressure them. We want them to feel comfortable. But try to get the star ID if you can, certainly. As long as that came up, and I know this is all kind of new to Lucas, but I want to go back and cover this for everybody. So the process is, let's work from the beginning of the process. The student looks at TutorTrack, right? And Lucas, I'll have you stick around after the meeting, and you and I will just kind of take a look at some of these things, just one-on-one, right? So you know totally what we're talking about here. But they'll go to TutorTrack, which is the appointment page. The students will make the appointment. Remember, as soon as the student makes the appointment, 2 people receive an email. That student gets an automatic reminder that they signed up with you, and you get the email that an appointment has been made with you. And what we were doing last semester, everybody, and for Lucas, is that then that email that was sent to you has the student's name on it, and you send your Zoom link through that email, right, that you received for the tutorial. And then you could meet for the tutorial from there. When the tutorial is over, and this is back to Medina's question, remember we at least need their name, hopefully star ID number, which is kind of like their student number, Lucas. You probably got one too. The other thing that would be really, really great is the time in and out. All right, so I know how long they were there. Remember, we're still trying to stick to about a half hour, folks. It seems to maybe be harder to get people off of Zoom. Is that true? I had Corinne told me last semester, she's like, I just have people who like kind of refuse to leave, and they're there for like an hour and 15 minutes, and I don't want to hit the red button on Zoom and like leave them hanging. And it's been hard to say goodbye to people, right, that want to stick around and try to get more help. So was that an experience that some of you had as well? People overstaying their welcome, so to speak?
I didn't have too much. If I had an issue with it, I would tell them that I had another appointment coming up that I had with someone else.
Right.
And that's a really easy way to get off with them.
Sure. That sounds great. So everybody can steal that strategy. Lee, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't have that issue too much over Zoom, but like, if I ever had that issue in person, like an appointment, like being around 45 minutes, like going to an hour, I would just be like, you know, we've been going at this for a little while now, and studies show, like, you know, after 30 minutes, like the effectiveness of a tutorial, both for the tutor and the tutee, kind of wears off. So like, for your benefit and mine, like, I think it would be best if we just end things now. Right.
That sounds great. And I'll add in my move, which is sort of a synthesis of those moves. It's just saying, like, we've got 10 minutes left. What's the last thing you'd want to work on? We've got 2 minutes left. Let's just sort of remind ourselves of the strategies you want to take away as you continue to revise this piece, and let it be done at that. So, so good. We've got strategies. I guess just let me know how that's going. This is one more thing to jot down in your notes, and I want to poll you as long as we're a small group. Would everybody be comfortable about every 2 to 3 weeks just doing a small check-in, probably this time Fridays at 3 if you could make it, just because we're not going to see each other all semester. We're all kind of off alone, right? I think it would be good just to have, even if it only lasts 5 or 10 minutes, a check-in about every 2 or 3 weeks on a Friday, just to see what's going on, see how tutorials are going, see each other, you know, those type of things, just to build some camaraderie and to troubleshoot anything that comes up as well. Is that okay with everybody? Is this a decent time? If not, that's fine. It would be this time on Fridays, because we're closed, right? It's an hour after we close on Fridays. Yeah.
Are we going to work like in pairs to send the link to each other and to work it out like we did in the past, or? No,
it wouldn't really be a training session like we've had in the past. We may have one of those mid-semester, but no, this would just be like a short talk to make sure that we're all doing okay. If there's anything you need from me, you know, because there are a few things that traditionally come up in the Writing Center that are just as tricky on Zoom, like students who are making lots of appointments and not showing up. And so we kind of, usually when you're in the Writing Center together, you can all say like, oh, I saw that person in here the other day. They signed up for 4 appointments this week in 2 days. And it's harder to see that when we're all on Zoom, right? I can see that a little bit by looking at the records and who's signing up. But it's good to have a little space for us to talk and kind of do some troubleshooting of those problems that are maybe exacerbated by Zoom. Cool. All right. So every couple of weeks, we'll do a check-in. Are we all clear? And Lucas, we can cover this a bit more at the end if we need to, on the sign up, getting them the Zoom link, and then the info that you need at the end. It's the same as spring, right, everybody? Cool. All right.
Just a quick question. So can we get reminders from you in case of this check-in?
Sure.
Because of the scope of the classes, we might forget. So
right, sure.
It would be useful to get some reminders.
Yeah, I think last semester, most Thursdays, I would just send out a reminder saying, please send me your log for the week, and then I would enter those into Tutor Track the appointments. I'm happy to do that. I think we'll do the same as last semester. I'll send sort of a Thursday reminder, and you can send me your log after Friday, right? And I can enter it in. Just look into the future, everybody. Eventually, if I can have you do so, I'm going to have all of you enter in your own tutorials at the end of a shift, so I don't have to do everybody's at the end of the week. I'm not sure if you have clearance for that right now. I'm working on that. Sound good? So for right now, you'll just send me your log for the week, type it up and send it to me. Lucas, what that means for you is get the 2D's name, star ID, time in and out. Just keep it on a piece of paper for the week for your tutorials, type it up and send it to me, and then I put it in the appointment system later. Sound good? Okay, thanks. All right. I guess, are there questions at this point? Those are the basics. I'm just going to kind of work through our typical orientation stuff and talk about the stuff that still kind of applies in this semester. Questions, comments, anything? Okay, cool. Before I
have
do,
a question about Zoom.
Vivian, go ahead. Yeah.
So is everything like, so do we need to manage or to update our Zoom through the beginning of the new semester, or it's like still the same link and still the same information there?
So,
do we need to address this question to tech support, or how does it work?
Sure, no. In terms of updates, make sure that you update your computer regularly, because Zoom is such a popular technology right now during COVID that I had one meeting I was trying to get into and I couldn't until I ran the updates. So if that's your question.
Can we update ourselves? Because if we're not going to campus.
Sure,
we don't have the access to tech support.
Right. Your computer should automatically update your Zoom because it's a program installed on your computer, right? So that shouldn't be an issue. It should be doing that in the middle of the night on its own. Or when you log on, it'll say you have updates and you can say yes, right? In terms of another way to think of your question, you all have the same Zoom room as last semester, right? When you're a student at WSU, you get that room. And so that link that you send, as you all know, is just the same link over and over, which makes our life easy. You might notice that even for this meeting, I haven't gone to the actual Zoom meeting plus password, which is probably what a lot of you have been doing, right? Which is more secure. So far, I've just been doing it the old-fashioned way of having a room and sending the same link. I think you probably all know what that means. Is anybody else that I've sent the link into, like an old student could just pop up magically here right now and they'd be part of our meeting, even if they're not supposed to be. That's where you get the Zoom bombing and those types of things, right? People doing inappropriate things in a meeting that they've wandered into. I'll leave that up to you if you want to just do the room, which is what we're doing, which doesn't require a password. I'm okay with that. If you're not comfortable with that and you want more security though, you just have to make sure you know how to create a meeting and set a meeting link instead, right? So I'll leave that up to all of you to decide what to do. Does that sound good? Good. All right, not exciting, but necessary. The last thing I just want to tell all of you before I just get into a few small things is my availability. So, most of you know I have small children. And so I have no idea how long they will be in school. One of their schools has already been canceled. So I'm basically going to be a dad until 2 p.m. every day and probably not on campus in the mornings. And then at 2 p.m. Is when I'll start to work. So I am most available on Mondays, which is when my wife is home and can care for the children. And then probably after 2 p.m. If you have an issue, you can email me during the day and I can probably get back to you by email pretty quick. But you won't see me hanging around the university most likely like Tuesday through Friday mornings. I just can't be there because of all this other stuff going on, right? So that's my availability is Mondays and Tuesday through Friday afternoons. But again, if anything comes up, you have tech difficulties or something you don't know how to handle, shoot me an email. I'll have my email open here at home and we can talk it out if we need to. Sound good? All right, excellent. All right, let's talk about maybe a few little things that I'm sure you all have questions on. There you all are.
So I was wondering when will we start work itself? What date
So
will
yeah,
it be
good.
approximately? Because I'm in Kazakhstan now, I'm kind of
Right.
confused of the date.
Yeah,
And I
we're
will
gonna-
go back on the 4th of September. So
Sure. We're gonna
just
open,
to make sure that I will not skip.
right. We'll open Monday of the second week of classes.
So what day will it be then? What
That's
date?
August 31st. That winds up being.
August 31st.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, everybody, I'm just gonna kind of go down my checklist here of other things we need to talk about briefly. Make sure some of you have already sent me your schedule, you know, blocking off the hours and the hours you're available for work. Just make sure you get that to me by Tuesday night, okay? Because Wednesday I'll sit down, I'll do the schedule. As you all know, I'll send it out. Oftentimes I make one small mistake and there needs to be some adjustments. And then that way we'll have the real schedule by like Friday-ish, most likely. And we'll open up next Monday, the 31st. So please, Tuesday of next week, get me that. Did everybody write down whether or not you're on campus or away from campus? Cool, thank you for that. Let's see what else I've got for us here. Okay. I guess the thing to say here is that class visits, I canceled class visits for this year. Remember the first 2 weeks of every semester or 3 weeks, we would go and visit different classrooms. It just seemed too hard with people being scattered and not on campus every day. So we're just not going to do it. If there are any, I'll probably handle them myself, or if some of you happen to be around, maybe we'll, you know, tag team it together and go over and do the presentation. But don't worry about that. That's not in your agenda this semester. When we go back to face-to-face, we can start doing that again. In terms of like other things like report to instructor forms and all the little pieces of paper we tend to send around campus, we're not gonna do any of that unless the student specifically requests it. And then you can direct them to me if they need anything, okay? But your job is just gonna be simple this semester. Do your Zoom tutorial, collect their info, and get it to me so I can log them. We're just gonna keep it at that, all right? Like I said, I don't know if we'll have training this semester, but we'll have that check-in every 2 to 3 weeks on Fridays at 3 p.m. Just to make sure we can see each other, make sure everything's going well. Concerning absences, even though we're on Zoom, you might need to be absent. You might be so sick you can't tutor or something like this, or caring for a family member. That's totally fine. We'll handle it the same way we always do, and that is just send an email to each other. You've all got each other's emails from the emails that I've been sending you. So the way we handle this, all of you know this except for Lucas, the way we handle any attendance or absences is just to send a message to the group saying, can someone pick up my shift next Tuesday at 3 p.m. or something like that, right? One thing I'll have to send to you all, and you might want to print out and put up on your wall, since we won't be in the physical center, is the schedule with everybody on it, so you can see who's working when to cover your absences. Normally we just tape it to the door, right? We can all just take a look at who could sub for us. So I'll make sure you get that when it's done. Just keep it, right? And maybe put it up next to your computer or something so you know who's available to sub for you. Any questions, concerns?
I have a question. So the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks, probably we're not expecting lots of people to sign in. So do we still need to send you the info of the login and logout, the records, or
Just
it will be like...
send me an email saying I didn't have any tutorials.
Okay.
That way I know that I got your correct answer. That would be great. You know, I'll just delete the email, but I feel better that way. I guess the only other thing I jotted down, everybody, is that of course we don't have any handouts or resources this semester. So I think Purdue OWL is going to be even more important than ever. So just make sure you're familiar with it, including a lot of the things that we ourselves would print and hand out about comma usage and colons and active sentences and all those type of things. Just make sure you know where some of that type of stuff is on Purdue OWL. Or if you've got another site that you go to, that's appropriate as well, right? So just make sure you have some resources online you can guide students to. I think that is it. I guess the only other info I have before I let you all go is that for GAs, we'll talk about GAs first. Lucas, you're just going to be doing 20 hours of tutoring, we decided, right? So that's where your GA hours are going. For those of you that are teaching 111, you're going to be tutoring 9 hours a week. And for those of you teaching 107, which is likely just IGLU, you'll be doing 10 hours a week, okay? And the reason why IGLU, you do 1 extra hour is because you're teaching a 3-credit course and everybody else is teaching the 4-credit course. So they teach an extra hour a week, and there's your balance. So that's just those of you that are GAs that are teaching, that's what you're in for, 9 hours or 10 hours of tutoring a week. All right. Okay. Undergraduates can stick around for a minute because we need to talk about how we're going to do your paperwork for the internship, and that won't take long, but I want to talk to all of you. The last thing I have to say is just remember to get me your forms. You send me your scheduling forms, I can do the schedule, and it's the email and the messages will keep us rolling to the start of the semester from there. But does anybody have anything else we need to address? Graduate students, specific graduate concerns or anything like that before you all go? No? All right. Cool. Well, I guess if you're a graduate student, you're welcome to go. Thanks for being here, everyone. I know it's going to be sort of an awkward semester, but thanks for being so professional and caring and kind. You all did a great job in the spring. I heard only good feedback from what happened, so I'm sure we'll do it again. All right, so contact me if you need anything, email, we can always talk. I know some of you are distant, and I'm gonna try my hardest to make you not come to campus and make this a laborious process. All right, thank you everyone, good to see you all. Stick around if you need to.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everybody. Yep, bye.
Bye.
All right, so we're down to, let's handle undergraduate stuff first, and then Lucas, you and I can talk. Emily, how many hours are you doing again? You might have written it on your form, but I just want to get it clear so I know what I'm scheduling you for.
I'm doing 6 this semester.
Okay, so 2 credits for 6 hours.
2 credits.
Yep, all right. Got it. 2 credits, 6 hours. And Caitlin, you're gonna do 3, was it, for 9 hours? Or did that change? Oh, I think you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. I think my schedule changed, so I have to check back on how many
Okay.
hours.
All right, sounds good. Just let me know soon. If I could know by Tuesday night, that would be ideal because then I know how many to schedule you for.
Yeah,
Cool.
I can.
And then for both of you, you're both doing internship credits. I think I can do it without getting your signature, or maybe you can sign electronically so you don't have to come into the building. I'm looking into that and I should have that figured out by like tomorrow. But you're both in town, so if you need to, you can drop by and sign anyway, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'll let you know about that. If I can do it electronically, I will. It'll be off your plate. I'll let you know by Monday. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you two have any questions about any of this?
I don't think so, no.
All right. Cool. Well, good to see you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. See you soon. Bye. All right, Lucas. I guess before we do our thing that we've got to talk about, any questions or concerns with like the things you heard in the meeting?
Not particularly. I think the biggest thing is just making sure that I know how to operate the meetings and how to get
Right.
into the software and everything.
Yeah,
But it sounds like the way that you guys operate is very much the same as how we did things at UWL.
Okay, cool. Good, good. Yeah, I guess the best thing to do right now, we'll just do a few minutes here sharing screen. And if we need to, we could get together one-on-one too in the center, like next week. I'll take you through the process right now of just what our registration page looks like for appointments. So
Okay.
I'll just share my screen real quick here. Should do it. Let me get down here. There we are. So this is TutorTrack. Oh, well, that's YouTube. Here's TutorTrack. So what happens is if we were in the physical space of the Writing Center, we have a computer right inside of the door that's always open to tutor track, and then students can just register. This is where we log students in and log them out when they come in. We're not going to have you do that while you're doing the distance tutoring. That's why you have the paper log and you're just writing down times and student name and number, right? But if we were in the center, they could actually just log themselves in and out. Here's what the appointment page looks like, both for you and for students. You know, register here. What you could do is go to Writing Center. There's nothing there right now because we don't have a schedule yet, but you know, they can go here and register. What it winds up looking like for them and for you is the following. This is where I need this. Here we go. So this is what it looks like once it's actually filled up.
Okay.
So you can see, like, if you look at, let's say the first column here was you, the green is your daily spots, right? So this person was tutoring from 11 to 2, obviously. The green is where you have no one, and you can see there's a name entered here, so that would be your appointment. They work in half-hour slots. That's what they look like. And this is where I said, you might recall me saying, people have to sign up 6 hours ahead of time. They can't sign up 4 hours ahead of time or 3 hours ahead of time. They would just be blocked.
Sure.
If we were face-to-face, normally what we'd do is we would just take walk-ins. You show up and 30 seconds later, you're in a tutorial, right? But
Yep.
because we're online and we're beholden to other things, we don't have control over 6 hours. But that's what it looks like. We don't have to do anything else with that this semester. But what you can do is just log in. And when you go to the appointment page, you'll just see your list of appointments for the day. You'll know it's coming up. What we had everybody do last semester when we had the shorter time frame of 15 minutes is everybody just kept their email opening, listening for the appointment ding in their Outlook, you know. So you'll have to do something kind of similar. But since it's 6 hours out, of course, I doubt you'll have a shift that long. Although potentially you could have a 6 hour shift since you've got 20 hours a week. So you might have to kind of keep your Outlook open looking for that, but you'll figure that out. Do you have a preference? As long as I've got you just one-on-one, do you, and you're in town, do you want to work like a little bit every day, or would you rather kind of be a trooper and put in a couple of longer days and maybe get a day off, or what's your preference if you have one?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I'd rather be a trooper and just crank it out as much as possible.
Okay, so do like a couple 6-7 hour shifts and get a lot of it done or something. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Cool. All right. Noted. Jot that down. All right, yeah, so that's the appointment system. When they register for an appointment, so when this person did this, like I said, they get an email reminder instantly. You get one instantly as well. And that was the email where then we were getting the student's name and sending them the Zoom link, right?
Okay.
So I sent the video the other day, the training video. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, of how to sign up for Zoom through WSU. You get your own Zoom account. Did you watch it yet? And if you didn't, it's no big deal.
I haven't watched it yet.
That's fine. You can watch the video for a reminder. I'll take you through that real quick. It's real easy.
Okay.
What I did is on this document here that I've sent you in the last 2 emails, setting up a distance tutorial, it's like the instructions, right? But I just gave you a live link right here. And so even whenever I need to do this, I just go here to find my Zoom. Here's what it looks like. It should look the same for you. Click on the link just inside of the Word doc. And of course, it's just going to take you out to the net. So this is, you know, WSU's wiki page and how to use Zoom, right? So if you just scroll down a bit, right here, you'll find the link to WSU's Zoom account for everybody to get you into it. So just go there. And this is all written on that set of instructions. But go there, host, and ta-da, you would open Zoom from there, right? It looks the same once you get to this stage.
Okay.
So that's all you've got to do. Then you just got to go to participants and invite the person. And that's all in the video. So you'll see that in the video. I can't do that now because we're actually here, right? But that's what it looks like. All right. So that would be it. You do the tutorial, get their name, their ID number, and you're good to go.
Okay. Another question about that, just because usually I'm accustomed to tracking a lot more information about specifics of the meeting and what we covered. And,
right. Sure.
So are the things that we're tracking are student name, star ID, and then the times? Are there any other things?
Yeah, we just went with that last semester. people were sending me what you're asking about, like we worked on paragraphing or organization or a thesis or incorporating sources or whatever it is, right? You can definitely jot that down and there's a place for me to enter it. I haven't been overly concerned about that.
Okay.
Because I was just trying to get everybody entered last semester. But if you write down that info in the log, I certainly will enter it in. Definitely, that would be great. Yeah. And to answer your big question, once things go back to normal, yeah, our program has an area to enter all that stuff in, as you can imagine as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Good. I don't think I have anything else. Those are the basics. Any other questions on your end?
Yeah, so just to clarify, let's say it's my shift and I'm wondering how I'm going to be notified that someone's coming in to work with me on Zoom. I'm going to get an email in my just regular email.
Yes.
And then presumably I'm logged into TutorTrack as well, and I can it'll show up on there. I'll get a notification on there. Well,
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to add. Yeah, it kind of happens simultaneously. Usually what people would do is just come in and check their appointments at the beginning of their shift. And if we stick with that 6-hour window, that's pretty much going to hold true because people can't sign up later in your shift.
Yep. So what I see really at the beginning should essentially
should hold true unless you got longer than a 6-hour shift. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I won't confuse you by telling you more, but it gets easier when we're in the physical space because everybody writes their appointments for the day on a big whiteboard that we have. And then you can kind of see yours and everybody else's. And it just helps us, figure out who's going to take walk-ins. But we don't really have to worry about that while we're online anyway. So we won't confuse you with that yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool. I think for right now, I'm happy. If you're happy, you're welcome to keep throwing questions at me. And I think is what'll happen, maybe just after week 1, if you get some tutorials, let's do a check-in right away. Since you're kind of new to the process, or if like something doesn't go well or you can't figure something out, drop me a line. We can talk it out in Zoom. That training video that I sent you should answer your questions just about getting online and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Zoom and all that stuff. So I think we should be good. But I'm
Sweet.
available.
And then just one other point of clarification. Once I know and I've been notified that students coming in and we're going to have a meeting, the next stage would just be I email them the link to the Winona Zoom. I get them into the Zoom meeting and then we're good to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have your own little Zoom room, your own little digital room that's just yours. And so it'll be the same link over and over all semester. Unless, this is what we talked about in the middle of the meeting, unless you want to set up individual meetings that other people can't get into. I haven't had any problems with just sending out my room.
Yeah, I'll probably just do the room one. I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, same. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, welcome to the program and all that good stuff. Normally we would have a big party for you being here and we'd have like a barbecue that we'd be heading to right now and all this stuff. So
yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I know we are going to have it later, probably end of the year. Hopefully things will settle down by then. Because in the department meeting yesterday, we were literally tallying all the parties that we're missing because of COVID. And we were like, but we're not letting them go. We're going to do them at some point. So you're going to get a barbecue in your honor at some point.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just a little later than normal, but you're going to get it.
Maybe I'll be able to savor a little bit more because I can appreciate it.
That sounds good. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks for being here and good to meet you. And just keep in touch as you start. I'm your support. So
yeah, thank you.
You're never bothering me. No problem.
Awesome.
All right. Well, take care of yourself, Lucas. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye.